Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show.
Hello everybody, this is Paul Neeson and welcome to the Raw Life Health Show. Today is Monday, April 5th, and I got some exciting videos this week, but right now I just wanted to talk to everybody about some serious issues that are happening in the raw food diet and lifestyle. I'm seeing more and more people get into the raw food diet and lifestyle, but I'm also seeing more and more people having trouble. Not only people on a raw diet, but everyone around. And I believe the problem is something I've been talking about a long time, and I really want to talk about this subject right now. And I welcome your questions. As you know, every Friday I answer questions. What I want to talk about is, how do you know if you have a disease? How do you know if what you're doing is not working for you? How do you know if you're developing a disease? These things are so important, and the problem I see is people using how they feel to determine if what they're doing is working or not. And it is a very dangerous thing because, yes, how you feel should be a factor, but not the factor, because many people can do a lot of things that aren't necessarily good for them, but because of the body's amazing power to adapt to what they're doing, also the stimulants from the food, people can feel great doing harmful things. So there has to be something else other than how we feel to determine if what we're doing is working for us. And there's three things that I highly recommend people look at. And then the fourth thing would be how you feel to go along with these three things. And these three things are, number one, your digestion. Are you going to the bathroom on a regular basis? And I don't mean like once a week. I mean every day. Do you go to the bathroom every day? How many times a day? And, you know, learning about your digestion and if it's working properly says a lot about your health, regardless of how you feel. The other thing is sleep. This is probably, for me, one of the most important things, subjects that I talk about the most, because people are not getting the proper amount of sleep that they need. What I mean by that is they're not getting the correct amount of sleep, and they're also not getting the right quality sleep. Now, some people will ask me, well, how long is enough sleep? And that answer is different for everyone based on each individual person's lifestyle, but most people aren't getting enough. The quality and quantity of sleep you get is really what determines good health, because that's where the body cleanses and healing. The main reason to eat a good diet is to put your body in a position so it can get the proper amount of time to get the good quality sleep that it needs. The worse you eat, the more sleep you require, and it's just not enough hours in the night to get the proper amount of sleep you need, because you're going to require so much more if you're not eating a healthy diet. However, the better you eat, chances are it'll put your body in a situation to get the proper amount of sleep it needs, but still the quality of sleep is so important. If you get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, you're taking your body out of that deep stage sleep where the healing is taking place, and it takes a while to get back there again if it even does that night. So some people will go to the bathroom 2 or 3 times throughout the night, and you can just think about the problem they're creating with the lack of sleep that they're giving themselves. So it's very important to get good quality sleep and rest. And if you're not, now it's not only diet, but for emotional reasons, there are big problems people are having emotionally of why they're not able to get the good quality sleep they need, regardless of what their diet is. But now when you look at diet, it's not only eating a healthy diet, but the times we eat. There's no better cure for insomnia than the daylight diet, than not eating at nighttime or eating before you go to sleep or eating late at night. That's one of the main causes of insomnia. So we have to think about all these things as well. So those are the two beginning things. Now, the main thing we need to do to monitor, to know if what we're doing is working for us, and just like myself, many other people, not only on a raw food diet, but people in health, don't listen to this one enough. They say, well, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating good food, so everything's fine. Well, how do you know everything's fine? I just did an interview with somebody who, I don't believe I'm going to air this interview because I think it was an issue that I'm going to talk about now. The fellow said he's been on a raw food diet for 4 years, so he knows he's doing great because he feels great. He says he looks great, so he knows everything's fine. Well, that's how I felt. That's what I thought until I got my blood work checked after being on a raw food diet for 15 years. And I wasn't awful. I wasn't really bad, but I realized it wasn't as good as I felt. There weren't things that were perfect, and I was curious about this, so I had other raw fooders get tested, and I seen them having many of the same deficiencies. Now, the other aspect of that, so I've been telling people to get blood tests to monitor their blood to see what's going on with their blood work. And I don't just mean a dark field microscope. I'm talking about the chemistry blood test. And recently, some of my friends have gotten their blood work done, and they said, my blood work is fine. I'm doing great. Everything came out wonderful. And I certainly believe them, but when I asked them what kind of blood work they had, they told me the basics. They didn't get an extensive amount of blood tests. And this is where the problem comes in. You need to make sure you get an extensive amount of blood work to know what's going on. Now, people always ask me, what kind of blood works do we need to get done? How do we really know? Well, yeah, there are the basics. And there's also, I tell people, if you have drug insurance, I don't call it health insurance, I call it drug insurance, but it doesn't pay for health, it pays for drugs. I say, if you have drug insurance, go to your doctor and say, I want every test possible that my insurance covers. And the more information you have, the better. But a big problem is the laboratory that blood work goes to. You have to make sure it's a good laboratory. Even more, you have to make sure your doctor or whoever's reading the blood work understands how to read it, because some people might say that you're too low, but everyone might be too high and you might be fine. But on the other hand, you might be very low. So you have to go to somebody who knows how to read that. And I've been blessed because I've been around this field for a long time, and I met a fellow, Dr. Shendel, who has a laboratory, his own laboratory here in South Florida, who I work with, and he created something called the Longevity Blood Profile Test. And you can see it on his website, which is caprofile.net. Now, I first want to say to people out there, anyone that knows me know I don't do things as money being the motive. I get no compensation at all, money-wise, to tell people about most of the products that I recommend. But this fella right here, Dr. Shendel, I don't promote him to make money off him or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I told him I want people to get the money or any money that I would be getting anything. And he didn't even bring money up, but he did say, Paul, anybody you recommend, if they mention your name, I'll give them 10% off what I'm about to mention here. And what I'm about to mention is the Longevity Blood Profile. Now, people are always asking me, you can go to his website, caprofile.net, and you can see this information I have in my hand right now. People are always asking me about this information, about what test they should get. And yeah, there's the basic CBC, the Chemistry Blood Profile Test, which is very important, and it has the basics. But he goes to the next level. You see, let me explain this. Dr. Shendel was a fellow who was working in a hospital, and he didn't like the method they were using to diagnose people with cancer. He thought it was very harsh on the body, and he thought there was a better way, and there was. He found out, he put something together called the Cancer Profile Test, where people can get their blood tested and see if they have cancer or if they're going to have cancer based on the results of the blood test without doing any of these harsh tests on the body. So he found that out, and then he went further and he put together a longevity blood profile test. Now, through Dr. Shendel's test here, he can tell if somebody has or somebody going to get cancer, heart disease, or other major diseases 10 years prior to that happening. Now, I remember a great story he told me. He told me he was part of a doctor's symposium once, and he mentioned that, and one of the doctors said to him, that's like biological fortune telling. He says, that's exactly what it is. He goes, well, we don't want to know 10 years before somebody's sick. We want to know when they're sick. And that is just ludicrous. And I'm from Brooklyn. I don't use big words like that often, but that's crazy. Why not know before if you could? We want to know as soon as possible, and these tests will say it. You can look at the website and see the test yourself, but I'm just going to tell you right here, he's looking at not just the vitamins and the nutrients, the minerals, but he's also looking at what I believe, and I'm going to do another episode on this maybe one day this week, on the hormones. It's so important to check the hormones of how they're working in the body, and I'm definitely going to be doing another lecture on this week, because it's really information that needs to get out there. So you can see all about that. You can see all the different tests he has, but please, because I care about your health, I don't want you to be sick, go to his website, the Longevity Blood Profile Test, Dr. Shendel, and check it out. And mention Paul Neeson, you'll get a 10% discount. All right, everybody, I want you to have a great week. Today's just Monday. We're starting off a great week. Exciting things coming up. Until then, have a great day and a great raw life.
Good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life